Warmest greetings to you, friends. I'm in my van like an Eskimo. Just kidding. It's not really that cold, but I know it's dark in here, so forgive me for that. I just been listening to videos as usual, and um, I was listening to one side of the story, and then I was listening to the other side of the story, and that's what I always do. I always listen to both sides because both sides are human. Both sides of the aisle, both sides of the story. It's all the human journey, right? We're all in this together, and none of us has the right to judge the other side or whatever, if you will. If you're on one side of things, no one, you don't, I know this is difficult for males to wrap their minds around because males sort of have the job of protecting their country, so they have to choose a side, and they have to protect, they have to sort of take an offensive position or even a defensive position. Whereas females, we're the ones usually being protected or whatever. So what I want to say about that is that part of the reason that females don't take sides and stuff is because we're female. And the goddess, the mother, the Holy Spirit, the queen mother of our life, she gave us life, she gives us soul, she gives us energy, she gives us a mind to think with, she's given us a body to walk in, and she doesn't judge. Okay, she doesn't judge. Nature doesn't judge at all. Okay, nature is doesn't judge. There's no judge in heaven. There's no judgment. There's no judgment coming. There's no judgment. That is a strictly male misunderstanding of God's will. And the reason that we have this misunderstanding is because it has been very deliberately designed that way. So when we read books, and like holy books, the Bible, Quran, so on and so forth, we're reading stories about God's wrath. You know what I mean? God's wrath. When you hear the book of Enoch, you're gonna, if you ever listen to that, boy, that thing is filled with wrath. And I could have swore that wrath was one of the 7 deadly sins. So if God is wrathful, then God can't ask us not to be wrathful. So no, God is not wrathful. Okay, nature is not wrathful. Ares is wrathful, the god of war. Ares, Mars, the Martians, that's wrathful. And I think they've had a really good time this last 1,000 years of controlling the population and getting us to believe in judgment and in wrath, and these kinds of false concepts, which couldn't possibly be true in reality, because nature could never have gotten this far if it was filled with opinions about itself. You know what I mean? Oh, this part of myself deserves to be punished. This part of myself deserves to be rewarded. No. Okay? No. That is a dualistic, false, segregative way of looking at things. All of us are on an evolutionary path, okay? We are experiencing karma, plain and simple. We're not we don't owe anybody anything. We don't, there's just so much false all about it. But my whole point with this is the judgment piece. You know what I mean? I can't say, I'm trying to be patriotic American, and say, well, I hope America wins because I'm American, and I love my country. This is my home, and these are my people, the American people, so on and so forth. Because we're facing a situation where China is up and coming as an imperial power. However, China is a poor country, essentially. They tell us all about rich Chinese and this and that, but in reality, the average Chinese person lives a very low quality, a low standard of living, compared to the average American person, or even the lower end of the average American person. Because for one thing, we have freedom, so that's why we're the best country in the world, and I hope we win, and blah blah blah. However, I can't judge, anybody who's in the middle, which would be Europe, right? Europe is sort of in between. Do I go with the Americans or do I go with Russia and the Chinese? Europe is like this and that. Well, I can't judge Europe. None of us can. None of us can say, well, Europe, you should really be on the side of the West, because whatever, none of us can say. We can have opinions, that's fine, but I really don't remember what my exact point was with this. It was very good though. It was really, really good. But long story short, we're living out karma, and there's only one thing that we should be doing with our controlling mechanism, because we do have that in us, that we want to control things, right? We want to control, we want to discern, we want to say this is good, this is bad, and then we want to do something about it. We want to use our faculties, right? We need to sink our teeth into stuff. That's what politics is for. They gave us something phony and false to sink our teeth into, which is so typical of the world, the matrix, that we live in. But well, why don't you sink your teeth into self-control? Okay, because that is the only place that this mechanism is actually justified. This attitude of control, of discernment, of any kind of judgment. You can judge yourself, because you're the judge of yourself, right? Because if you did it right, if you did it for the right reasons or the wrong reasons, you know yourself. So it's okay if you're judging yourself, as long as you're honest and fair, and correct about the judgment that you pass on yourself. Um, so the controlling thing is really, should be specifically for yourself, to get yourself under control, get your appetite under control. Who do you really want to be? Who do you see yourself as? You know what I mean? Are you fit? Are you healthy? Are you beautiful? Are you in a relationship? Are you in good terms with your family? These are all things that are within your domain, right? As a human being, and not my stuff. You know what I mean? You don't have to control my stuff. I don't have to control your stuff. We should be using our will, for that reason. The only thing that our will is really for at this point in time in our development, which has been stunted and everything because of the bad guys and stuff, because we're supposed to be working together. We could be working together for the grand, revelation of God's will, but instead we're on the individual level. It's all good, So on the individual level, our will should only be targeting our own life. You know what I mean? Like, I see this person that I want to be. This is the experience I want to have, so I'm going to exert my will in the direction of that. That's, to me, that's the best use of the will. And again, I'm no judge. You know what I mean? There are some people who feel like they want to go after others. There are some people and they feel totally justified and correct in that. And if you do, then God bless you, because that is correct and proper if that's how you feel. It's not for me to say, it's not for me to judge, but I just see a lot of people wasting energy on stuff that they have no, they're not going to really influence it anyway, or, they could be turning that attention towards themselves and like focusing on improving themselves. So, I hope you enjoyed this message. Love ya. Goodbye.